boys and girls, it's me, Mr. Marino. And even though I'm not here today, I have made this video to help you start learning about coding. So Miss Simon has nicely taken over my classes for the afternoon, and she'll be playing the video, doing an activity with you later involving coding. Now, as you can see, you look around the room, we don't have computers out for you. I don't have computers on the cart right now. And that's because we're going to code without the computers. So when you think about coding, coding happens all the time, even though we don't have a computer in front of us. We all have a brain in our head. And with that brain, there's no wires attached, there's no Wi-Fi for your brain, but there is information that's going into your brain and information that you look for and use that you've learned over the time, right? So when you think about it, when you were first starting to learn how to write your name, right, it wasn't automatic, right? Now when you write your name, your teacher asks you to write your name, you go to your paper and you write it down, right? But when you first started writing your name back in pre-K or kindergarten, right, it wasn't easy, right? There were things you had to learn. You had to code your brain, right? You had to teach your brain how to hold your pencil. You had to teach your brain which letters you needed for your name. You had to teach your brain how to write those letters. And then once you learned those, you had to write it down on a piece of paper. And you would have to probably say to yourself as you were writing it down, right? And then you're in pre-K or kindergarten, so as you're writing it, you're probably start writing your name, and you're probably like S, A, and then it's pre-K or kindergarten, so something distracts you and you're looking around the room, or you're in a new classroom starting to looking around, oh, that's interesting. And, oh yeah, I was writing my name, and R, A. So you can see it wasn't quick. If I'm pretending like I was back in pre-K and my name was Sarah, it took me a long time to write it. But now, when that student Sarah goes to write her name, she goes over to her paper and it's quick. It's S-A-R-A. She's done it, right? She's able to do that because she's coded her brain. She knows, again, how to hold the pencil, which letters to use, how to write those letters, and what order to go in for her to write her name. So when her teacher asks her to write her name, it's quick and automatic. Now, the only thing that may occur that might be a problem is every once in a while, she might be working on a paper and she goes to turn it in. As she goes to turn it in, she realizes, my name's not on the paper, right? Does that mean that she forgot how to write her name? No, it doesn't. Okay? It just means that she forgot to do it. Okay? The code is still in her brain. She still knows the letters, knows how to hold her pencil, knows how to make the letters, knows what order to write them in. But as she was doing her work, she just forgot to write her name on top. And so there was a little bug, there was a little mistake. And so then she can take her paper, go back to her desk, and she can quickly write Sarah on there and turn it back in, right? So again, it wasn't that her brain forgot the code and forgot how to write her name, it was just that she forgot to do it. And when we're using websites, we used like Codable last year, where we were moving the fuzzball around the screen to get the coins, or we were moving the robot around the screen to light up the light bulb on Lightbot. If that robot didn't light up the light bulb, it wasn't because like something was majorly wrong and it was gonna ruin your day and end your day, like and make everything feel terrible. It's just because you forgot to do something. The robot followed your directions and got to the light bulb, but then you forgot to light up the light bulb. So now you go back and you add the light bulb in, and you're able to move the robot light up the light bulb, right? Same thing with the fuzzball. You might make a wrong turn and not get all the coins on Codable, but you just go back and change your code, and then the fuzzball is able to move, get all the coins, and get across the screen, right? So today, as you're starting to think about coding, and as you're coding today without the computers, I want you to just start to realize and think to yourself, coding is happening all the time. I'll give you one more example that doesn't involve learning something. Well, it does involve learning something, but not sort of like a knowledge item, right? When you got to school, your first day of school, and you walked into the classroom, and you stepped through the door, on that first day of school, did you already know all your teacher's classroom rules? And do you know where your teacher keeps the paper, where your teacher keeps the glue sticks, where your teacher likes you to keep your pencils and crayons, where your teacher likes you to keep your binder or notebooks or folders, On the very first day of school, as soon as you stepped in the door, did you know that? No, you didn't. Okay? So your teacher has been coding. Your teacher's coding all the time. The teacher's teaching you new information, new words to spell, new strategies for reading, new steps for solving different math problems. So all of that is your teacher coding. And even like on that first day of school when you didn't know just the regular things like where do I put my stuff, how do we walk in line, right? Your teacher had the code you. So now you understand and know that when I'm walking in line, I'm walking forward, right? My hands are down, okay? My ears are listening for the teacher and my lips are closed, right? And you know that because your teacher has done some coding. She's taught you what the rules are for walking in the line. You learned rules for using the restroom, rules for entering the cafeteria, rules for leaving the cafeteria. All those things have been your teacher coding. And then you're like the little robot following those directions whenever she asks you to do them, okay? So coding is happening all the time. So today what we're going to do, and Miss Simon can go through the directions again for you once you see this, is you'll be sitting together, okay? Hopefully you will have a carpet or a big space available for you, and you can sit along the edge of that carpet, okay? Miss Simon will be putting a game board on the floor in front of you, okay? And it's very important that you sit on the edge of the carpet, because if you're on the edge, then everyone will be able to see the game board that's in front of us, okay? Now the object of the game, okay, is going to be to get the character from one point where they're starting to the goal, okay? And as you go along, there'll be different obstacles that come in your way. Now when you think about it, think about the Lightbot robot, the Fuzzy from Codable and all those things, or even yourself standing in line, right? Nothing happens until you're coded. Nothing happens until your teacher asks you to walk forward or to walk to the Cougar checkpoint. Nothing happens with the Codable Fuzzball until you put in the arrows and directions for it to move. The Lightbot robot doesn't get to the end of the level and light up the light bulb, and so you give it the directions and the turns. Sometimes there's a spring with a jump, and then there's the light bulb to light up the light bulb. None of that happens. You standing in line, the characters on the screen, they just sit there. They only start moving after you've given them some directions. So today you're going to have an opportunity to work as a class to code a character, getting to a goal. You'll see who that is in a few minutes. And then we'll add in some obstacles, right? They'll also, initially, there won't be any code. So initially, you'll see the character, again, is just going to be on the board, okay? So Miss Simon is going to teach you the code, and it'll be familiar, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to figure out. And once you figure it out, the activity can start, and Miss Simon will get you guys going, okay? But it's very important. The main thing I ask is that you're listening. You're sitting on the edge of the carpet or the edge of the space that Miss Simon has laid out for you, okay? And that when it's not your turn, that you're sitting quietly. I don't want you oohing and eyeing. I don't want you saying, ooh, that's not the right thing, okay? It's okay to make a mistake. So I want everyone to have their turn helping them do the code, okay? And if there's a mistake, the person who made the mistake can think about it. Miss Simon can help that person think about the mistake, and then they can fix their mistake, okay? Because in coding, there's always going to be mistakes. In learning something new, learning how to solve a new math problem, there's always going to be mistakes. But the process of it is you keep doing the steps over and over again, and you change whatever little mistakes you might have made, and then you end up with the correct answers to the math problem, or you end up getting the character to where it needs to go, okay? So the mistakes are not something bad. So let that person and let Miss Simon kind of work together to figure it out. Meanwhile, the rest of you will be sitting and thinking about what's the next step for that character to take, okay? It's going to be a fun activity. I've done it with all my classes all this week. So again, make sure you're on the edge of the carpet, voices off, listening, giving Miss Simon your respect and your attention, and you should have a lot of fun with this activity, okay? And I'll see you next Friday. Bye.